Yeah, get it figured out. I was just moving around in my seat. Sounds like toots. But it's not.
You gonna intro it? You do it.
Well, we've been rolling this whole time, so I'm pretty sure we are introing it. Yeah, I mean, I can do it, though. Should I do it?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Cold Hands, Warm Hearts.
Oh, you're doing it now?
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a very professional podcast. All right. So there we go. That's the intro, and it's all downhill from there, I suppose. So this is the part where you come in because I did all this stuff before. So now it's your job to make sure that we're actually on track.
Okay. Well, why don't we start by introducing ourselves?
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm Brandon. Birdwell. And I'm one half of this incredibly professional duo that's trying to make a podcast that anyone will listen to.
Our mom will listen.
I don't know that I want her to, though, is the problem.
She's terrified that we'll talk about her. And we will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Well, you're Brandon Birdwell. What do you do?
Well, is this the format that you have?
wear so many hats.
I do. Elijah, our producer, got in my car a while back and told me that the backseat of my car is, quote, all hats, but literal hats, not like jobs and things that I do, like physical head
hard hats.
No hard hats.
Police cap.
I'm not shuttling.
Newsboy.
I'm not shuttling the village people around town. It's just hats because I like to have a hat.
Sure.
It's because I feel safe in a hat. You know?
Yeah.
Like I'm protected in a hat. So that's why.
Okay.
But who am I? Who am I? So I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I do in like the day to day. I do some real estate stuff. I really like music. I make some music here and there.
And let's stop there for just a second. You have always been a musical person. This is what makes me mad about you. You have never taken...
This is the thing that
This is the one thing that makes me mad about you, and it always has. And it stems from jealousy is really what it does. But you have never...
like the Gin Blossoms song.
Right. Hey, jealousy.
Yeah.
You have never had one single music lesson in your life. You were part of a boys' choir.
The Stillwater Boys Choir.
Sure. Stillwater, America.
So that's true. I've never had a proper lesson. Our mom, whom we are not to mention on the podcast.
We're going to call her Crindy.
Crindy Bird.
Song.
Well, song.
Crindy
Birdman.
Bird song.
And she put me in...
No, Crindy Bird Bad.
Okay, because it's well,
Well, right? You gave it away.
Cindy Birdwell. So she put me in violin lessons for one violin lesson, and
that's right.
Right, and I spent the entirety of the lesson pretending it was a guitar because I was really into Back to the Future and the scene in Back to the Future where Marty McFly plays Johnny B. Good.
Right.
I was doing that, and they told me at the end of the lesson, this is not for him.
This is not for him. But it's infuriating, though, because you're good at all the instruments. If you had wanted to stay with violin and like be good at it, you could have without lessons. I have taken all the lessons. A student of many, master of none.
Well, but I would argue that when you say I'm good at all of them, I'm
self-taught and good.
Well,
so shut up.
I'm all right at a handful of them. I'm not like great at any one. And so I get jealous when I see a person that's like really great at one. Like Ted. When I see Ted playing guitar, I'm like, man, you're really good at...
Your friend Ted Kushel, who's also a musician.
He is. and he's very good at the guitar, but he's also very good at the bass. So this doesn't really apply because he's very good at lots of things, and I'm only sort of good at several. Anyway, so that's who I am.
No, there's more things.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of things in your career. You have an entrepreneurial spirit. You have opened restaurants.
I have.
You
Also closed.
Same. And you have a family. Tell us about your family.
Lindsay and Ben. We live here in the house where the studio is.
Right, the very professional studio.
Ben is currently at Grandparents University with Crindy. No, because Crindy got COVID at Disney World.
That's right.
Which I realize out of context is a ridiculous thing.
It's an album title.
Crindy got COVID at Disney World. Crindy got COVID at Disney World, and now she cannot take my son. Haiku. That was 575. That's a talent of mine. I can make a haiku.
I just wondered what you were doing because that was weird. But now you've brought it together. It's good.
Yeah, it was a haiku.
So Ben is how old?
Our listeners, our dozens of listeners, will go back, rewind,
Yeah.
hit that 15-second back button, the
Sure.
which is a very helpful thing in podcasts, I find.
Use it constantly.
I think that this would be a good time to use that. And I keep talking, so you're going to need to hit it like 2 or 3 times, but to count my syllables to make sure. And drop a note in the DMs.
Yeah.
Drop a note in the
DM
DMs.
us on our professional Instagram account.
Yeah.
We're gonna have one, though.
Well, you already set it up.
Well, you got to grab those names.
Smash the subscribe button. That's what they say, right? I was looking at our producer. And he
We have one.
and he produced nothing for me just now.
Except shame.
Let's talk about you. Can I tell you something really quick though
Sure.
about me? You know the worst thing about doing this podcast with you
What's that?
is that I can't chew gum during it, and I've been really into gum lately.
It's a new thing for him. Why did you give up gum in the first place?
I felt like I had lost control
Your addiction?
of my addiction to gum.
Okay.
No, I just stopped chewing gum, and I feel like this is going to sound super stupid.
Go on.
This is going to sound super stupid, unlike everything that's been said to this point.
Heretofore.
So I stopped chewing gum because I heard somewhere that when you chew gum, your mouth is open more than it should be, and you take a lot of air into your stomach, and you get the bubble guts.
Oh. Did you find that to be true?
I quit gum.
Well, but after you quit gum, did you have less?
No, it feels
Guts?
made up. I've still got the same amount of guts.
Yeah.
No, so I started chewing gum recently because my ears wouldn't pop.
I remember.
Me too. And I went to a doctor, to see if I could get that fixed. And
Remedied?
he told me this will, to quote him directly, shout out Dr. Ryan Gotcher at Mercy Health Systems. He's a really good doctor. Normally. But he told me, this is going on my chart. He told me that it would spontaneously resolve itself in 18 weeks.
That's so long.
Right. So I got to Googling, got to Binging, and it pops up, that chewing gum is helpful. And that makes sense because when you're on an airplane, you chew gum and it helps, whatever. And so I went and got myself a pack of Orbit Sweet Mint.
Yeah.
And I've been smacking ever since. And honestly, I've seen some positive results in my ears. And also, not for nothing, I'm pretty sure it's snatching my jaw. And I think that my jawline...
Your jaw has looked super snatched lately.
I feel like my jawline is... It's not like Pitt level, like a Brad Pitt Ocean's 11.
Sure.
Which, have you noticed that he's always eating in those movies?
Always.
To accentuate his very snatched jawline.
He's a good eater.
Shiloh Jolie Pitt has a very strong jaw.
She is beautiful. I saw the latest pics of her. Goodness. What did we expect, though?
I think we
jeans?
got what we expected.
I think so.
I think we got a Jolie Pitt out of the deal. But anyways, suffice it to say, I, for the benefit of our dozens of listeners, will not be chewing Orbit Sweet Mint before and after. Before and after we hit record.
Gotta loosen up.
I'll chew gum while I edit this.
Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times in the last probably like 2 months I have heard you after, like, you get so excited
About gum.
when someone has some.
Ugh.
When
That's like,
you get it out of your pocket to consume or give to other people. You don't consume gum, but you know what I mean. And you always say...
The way I do it.
Sure. And you say... You want to party?
You want to get wild?
You want to get wild?
You want to get loco? I got some gum.
Loco.
That's just like, there are different levels. And
Yeah.
the feeling when you realize that this happened at Disney World, where Crindy got COVID.
We just returned from Disney World less than a week ago.
And
I'm still dehydrated from it.
And I'm still sweaty.
My feet still hurt from it. Anyway, continue.
So
we'll circle back.
We'll circle back. And now a word from our sponsors.
That's right.
Orbit's gum.
Please.
So,
listeners, if you know Orbit's, please.
Gosh, if I could get sponsored by Orbit gum,
that would be, you would have arrived.
I'd like to talk to somebody at Orbit because they have this pack. This is something I'm not super proud of that I do, but I'm kind of proud of that I do it. They have this one pack that's really awesome. It's a hard plastic and it opens in the middle and it has like triple stack sticks of gum. Our producer's nodding his head. He knows that.
He gets it. He likes to get loco.
He gets it. He does like to get loco with some gum. So it's got it stacked that way, but at the On Cue, shout out On Cue, please sponsor our podcast. They gas is so expensive. Sponsor us, On Cue. Okay.
Just a year's supply, a month's supply.
A mere month's supply of petroleum.
Petrol.
For all our British listeners.
There's so many of you guys listening in the UK. Thanks for your support.
It's like this super awesome pack. So the packaging's awesome. It's very convenient. It's almost like it makes you feel like it's like one of those cool vintage cigarette cases that like a Don Draper would have in his pocket.
Yeah.
But gum.
Sure.
And they don't make it in the sweet mint. So I bought one of the regular mint. And I went through all of that begrudgingly because my post-COVID nose does not care for the smell.
Which we've got to talk about that too because we both have that.
Yeah. Don't like it. Made it through. Did I offer some pieces to some people along the way? Sure.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm really generous with my gum.
Sure.
But what I do now is I still have that pack. I like to buy regular, like, pedestrian packs of the sweet mint, and then I take them out of it and I put it in the other pack.
Yeah.
And I've been considering making a custom insert for that pack so that it's like...
Sure. Hey, I have a question. Do you want to keep talking about your gum pack, or do you want to ask me about myself?
Our producer just said that Ash. He literally held up a phone that said Ash has not been introduced.
We're 12 minutes and 48 seconds in.
Are you timing this, nerd?
Well, I don't want it to be too long.
Honestly,
this is our inaugural episode. We don't want to run people off. I think we already have, honestly, with all your gum nonsense.
I don't know. Gum's pretty good. When the idea of having a producer was suggested, I was like, that's cool, but it's already yielding significant benefits.
Because we didn't actually know what a producer does.
Right.
I said, listen, when I worked at Channel 5...
You did.
20 years ago.
You're skipping to your introduction.
Okay. Well, I'm Ashley.
Go ahead.
Engle.
More.
And...
Proceed.
Like you, I have a varied path. I feel like you don't care the way you're acting. So I have a varied career path. I've done all kinds of things. I am currently serving as a pastor. Just lost some more listeners. A pastor of spiritual formation, though, which sounds like crystal ball-y.
It sounds a little. That felt a little woo-woo to me.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it is. I'll just let you bing that. You know, what does a pastor of spiritual formation do? Figure it out.
But what you're doing there, that's good.
Okay.
Because you're driving them to do it, and they now, of their own volition, are seeking it out. You, through this professional podcast, are being a fisher of men. God stuff.
And women.
Okay. You had to really like.
Sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for using the wrong.
Thanks. Also, I feel like you need to lean closer to your
Do
mic.
I?
When you were scooted back in your chair.
Scat back.
What? Okay, so currently serving.
The past tense of scoot is scat.
Oh.
Google that also, listeners. Well, once you're done with the spiritual search. Okay, yes, more.
You don't care.
I do, more than you know. Let's go.
You don't care. So, pastor of spiritual formation, my family have Jeff, to whom I have been married for almost 20 years, which is crazy. And we have 3 kids. So many.
So a lot of kids.
Of them.
It's more probably than it should be, but as they kept coming into the world, I liked them.
Sure.
And still do.
Sure.
And the fact that I like the most recent one
Okay.
is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you would have had one more and it was... So I already resent her because she's one too many. But because I like her, I resent her less.
Sure.
Your
She's
child.
So sweet. She's so sweet.
She really is. She's the best.
She's the sweetest one.
She is. I would agree.
The other 2 are sweet, but so I have 2 boys.
And one of them is a teenager.
Yeah.
And he's a real teenager.
He's going to be 14 soon. And in many ways, I enjoy. So I have 14, a boy. Then I have a boy 11.
Did you hear my dog out there whining to get in?
You can't. And then I have a
Got him.
got him good. He's crying out there now. So, and then I have 2 boys, 13, almost 14, 11, and then a daughter who is going to be 9 next week. And in many ways, I enjoyed this phase of parenting much more than I enjoyed the little.
I hated it.
It was hard.
I just have the one, and he's 9, and he's awesome now. But there was some times when he was little that a baby's got nothing for me. They're just a bag of needs.
They are very demanding.
And I'm not here for it.
No.
But you have 3. You did this thing that I'm fascinated by when people have one kid.
Okay.
And they get through different milestones. Like, we're out of diapers. We're past this. We're past that. And then you said, I'm going to do that again.
Sure.
And then again.
Right. But here's the thing with that. When you're in that headspace of diapers, not sleeping, it's like, what's one more? If we're going to have more than one.
It's quite literally double.
It's quite literally.
It's literally.
But it is, but then they're kind of like, you kind of treat them as a unit. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, right now, we're kind of into this new sweet space where they are individuals. And so I enjoy the conversations I get to have with each of them. Their personalities are more defined. And I would say, especially for the boys, like that face, it's so patronizing.
This is just my face. It's the face.
Your face is patronizing.
Born with it.
Yeah.
I was looking to that direct. Do you know what's interesting?
What?
I bet, I know how the inside of this room looks, and I'm hearing it in the context of this room. I would just hit the mic. I feel like it's interesting to think about, what people think is going on in here. Because I'm looking over here at you guys, and you're sitting on this couch, producer and podcast host.
Yeah.
And I have a picture, but now I'm thinking about all my favorite podcasts and maybe how it seems in there. I don't know. I'm sorry. That was a tangent that it was because I was looking at him trying to get his approval, and you got mad at me for being patronizing, and then I got into this whole room headspace. I apologize. Let's get back to the podcast.
Let's get back to you, Ash, because I care. I can tell. But that's really it about me at this point. I don't know. Why do you think we are doing this? What was your intention?
I know exactly why we're doing this.
Okay.
Because you really wanted to do this.
No. We were talking about it one day during the pandemic, which I think we should call it, what is it that Dad calls it? The Pandalirium?
Oh, yeah, he does do that.
Okay.
It's from an old Jeff Foxworthy bit.
Oh, then no.
I know, I'm not.
I thought he came up with that.
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I just think that during the pandemic, both of us are big podcast listeners.
Or like normal sized podcast listeners.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think
Yes, I love to listen to a podcast. It's amazing how it's become such like a prevalent thing. Because I remember like at first podcasts seemed like a very novel notion. I think I listened to Mark Maron's podcast for the first time a long time ago, and I thought that I'd really like discovered this super cool like medium, and like I was really the cutting edge. And it feels like everybody.
I mean,
We have
we're trying to.
no, we're doing it.
It's happening. Yeah.
I just got told. I'm reporting this stuff as it's told to me
In real time.
In real time, our producer just held up his phone, and the message on the phone said, "Get your hand out of your mouth." Apparently, I've been sitting here with my hand in my mouth, trying to speak.
Such an amateur.
100%.
So let's talk about Disney. Let's talk about Disney because we just got home from Disney.
Okay.
And we took everybody. We took my 3 kids, your kid, your wife, my husband, and our parents.
We did.
Crindy and Harry.
Didn't even bother with editing
I know.
Harry, did you?
It wasn't. Nothing came to me. So we all went. We went for a week, and we did 3 days at Disney parks. Then we had a built-in day to like recoup, which I think was really wise.
Yes.
Because, as I mentioned, I am still dehydrated from this trip. It was a killer.
It was really hot, and I feel like it was a lot of time and days to be there.
Sure.
It was fun for the kids. We
had fun.
You were. I will give you a tremendous amount of credit for figuring out how to navigate. Well, can I finish? Figuring out how to navigate the new Disney app and the Fast Pass system.
Listen.
Because I feel like I was told before we went by multiple people who had just returned from Disney, don't get the Fast Passes. They're not worth it. But I think those people are idiots because it was 100% necessary.
Well, when you're there in June and it's... So my middle son, Asher, we were standing in line for one of the rides, and he was like, it's so hot here. It's squishy here.
It was squishy.
And
it
I was like, that is
soupy.
Such an apt description. I like the heat. It's like you step outside in the morning and you're immediately drenched.
You're wandering around a swamp.
Yeah.
It's the Everglades.
It is.
Yeah.
But so let's talk about Disney for a minute, because we grew up going to Disney.
We did.
We were a Disney family. I would say we're a theme park family. I married a person who is not a theme park person. God bless him.
He's a sit around the fire in New Mexico.
Yeah, and drink fine wines.
And think about important things.
Yeah, and maybe go to some art galleries during the day, like classy things.
Cultured. He's a cultured man.
He is. And I remember when we first started dating and started getting serious, I thought, I don't know that I would enjoy that kind of vacation all the time. But I'll tell you what I enjoy now.
Cut to
20 years later, I want that vacation every time.
I would much prefer that.
And all vacations are a luxury. And listen, we had a great time at Disney. We had a great time at Disney World.
It was really fun, Mom. We had
a
lot of time. I hope your COVID's getting better.
Yeah.
That she got at Disney.
She probably did.
She did.
Because if no one on our trip got COVID from that trip, then COVID's not real.
Yeah, and someone did. So I just want to make sure that the internet knows that we are not claiming on our podcast that COVID's not real. We are very aware.
How many times have you had COVID this year?
That I know of?
Yeah.
I had it once big.
The big.
I had the big COVID.
Delta.
The Delta. Was it the Delta? Is that what it was?
No, you had the Alpha. You had the first strand.
I am
that
now.
First November. I know. That first.
I know, that was nice.
Okay. I didn't mean to say that.
I had got it on my friend's trip with some buddies.
That was at the beginnings. No, it was in the fall.
Yeah, it was.
People care that we're getting this timeline correct.
We canceled. We didn't do family Thanksgiving.
Right, because you had it.
Well, I didn't know I had it, and we canceled Thanksgiving. I had a little suspicion that I might have it, and I didn't want to
Sure.
bring COVID to the Thanksgiving
Right.
festivities. But so I got it on that trip.
Yep.
Nobody knows who to blame on that trip. Everyone decided to blame my friend Cody. But Cody, if you listen to this, I don't know.
He won't.
I don't know that it was you. So I don't think it was. I'm going to blame somebody else. Cody buys his shirts at Kroger, though. That's the kind of guy he is. So that's why he got blamed for bringing COVID to the thing. But it's just because he likes the shirts. Cody, it's just because you like the shirts. Mm-hmm. His name's Cody Culberson. You guys should check out his music. It's really good.
It's
on
really
Spotify.
good.
But yeah, back
so-
to Disney.
Okay,
Is that what
but
you're
you
talking
didn't
about?
ask me how many times I had COVID.
How many times did you have COVID?
At least 2 that I know of.
This year?
This year. I had it in September, and then I had it again in January. I had the Delta, and then I had the, what's the next one? Omicron?
Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, Alpha,
First
beta,
time was
gamma.
way worse, was in bed for 9 days. But I bring this up because both of us have the COVID nose.
Yes.
That's one of the medical conditions we both have.
We're only going to talk about 2 of our medical conditions today, though.
Sure. That's really why we're doing this, is to educate. So the COVID nose. So let's talk about how that manifests in you. What is that like for you?
You have this way of you'll change the path and
Yeah.
you seem like a seasoned podcaster. I know you aren't, but you seem like one. Like you seem very professional.
Well, somebody's got to be.
It's true. So COVID knows.
Yeah.
The
It's not what it's called. The condition is parosmia.
That's what it's
Google
called?
it. Parosmia.
parosmia.
Distortion of smell and or taste. I think parosmia is just smell.
Okay.
I could be wrong there, but
Well, we'll
continue. Go on.
We in my experience, our listeners are very good about fact checking us and making sure
Yeah.
that we're correct. So,
Yeah.
My COVID knows coffee. One of my favorite smells in the world is putrid smelling to me. The smell of coffee brewing is rancid, like rotting meat.
Yes.
Now, I can still drink coffee, and then once I get through that first sip of coffee, I think my brain recognizes the taste and almost kind of resets my smell, and I almost don't even recognize the smell, and it's just the taste. But the initial smell is really, really, really gross. That, anything minty, like toothpaste.
That's what's weird about yours.
Yeah. So
Like
I have
cleaners.
two things that I put in my face hole every single
I
day.
don't like that.
Stink. Toothpaste, coffee. And so it's a double whammy every morning. I wake up to smell just the worst things ever. Some household cleaners that are like earthy smelling smell very bad to me. And last but most certainly not least,
Sure.
a thing that smells horrifying to me.
Yes.
I reek. And I hope I don't to other people. But to myself, I smell horrible.
Yeah. See, that's kind of like mine. I don't have the, he's currently sniffing his armpits.
It's not great.
No, it's not great. I have that too. But I don't have the mint. I don't have the cleaner. I have smell. Now, coffee does smell like, it smells like hot liquid garbage.
Yeah.
Like right before I drink it. But like you, once I drink it, the smell is okay.
Feels like your brain takes over and does like the smell rather than
I will say that the taste of coffee, the taste of certain things is not as like nuanced as it used to be. Like I'll drink coffee and I'm like, well, that's coffee. Is it fruity? Is it, smoky?
Like,
No, I have no.
So I haven't
just-
noticed that, and now my brain's gonna go there. And I thought I was just living a normal life, and now I'm can't taste coffee now too. So like I'll go back and try it, and I promise you, I will trick myself into having that. So thanks for that. That's
You're
awesome.
welcome. You're welcome. It's what it's. I'm doing.
Yeah,
what
but
I
it's
can.
really gross and it's stupid.
It's so stupid.
And I
But I
hate
do
it.
feel very lucky though, because I know there are some people who have that, who their taste is awful. And like, again, here's my terrible thing. This is terrible. And actually your wife, Ben's mom, was with me the first time this happened. We were outside in the downtown
As you say,
of
sure.
our town. And it was like, I smelled what I thought was something burning, like burnt hair.
I get a lot of burning smells. Yeah.
So much burning. I'm like,
burnt cumin.
yes. And it's hard to describe.
I just did.
Yeah, but there's like more to it. And so I thought something was burning. And I was like, oh God, what is that? And Lindsay was like, that's pizza. Like, that's pizza smell.
What a gut punch that is.
It was.
Yeah.
And I still can't smell pizza. I can taste it. Kind of.
So again, there's that.
But sad things like, like I'm a big cheese aficionado.
You do like cheese.
I love it. It's the best food. My favorite food is Parmesan cheese. But even now with COVID knows.
Parmesan cheese isn't Parmesan cheese feels like you put it on other stuff.
You do, but
That's like saying my favorite food is ketchup.
no, not even close. You can't eat a slice of ketchup. You don't just sit around and eat with a spoon. But
Put
you
it on some plastic wrap, put it in the freezer, and
Okay.
eat it. It's a slice.
You're just really stretching.
I've been watching a lot of brunch at Bobby's lately, and Bobby Flay does some really inventive stuff, and I bet you he has frozen catsup before.
I don't like that pronunciation. Anyway, I have every night what I like to call my night cheese, and that comes from
Tina Fey,
Tina
30
Fey on
Rock.
30 Rock. And I don't have a slinket, but I do have a comfy. And I wear my comfy and I eat my night cheese. And this is also sad because I like to enjoy my night cheese, which
Well, what's the point? If you're not enjoying your night cheese, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But historically, my night
Dead
cheese...
air.
We'll have to tighten that up.
No, I'm going on record that we're not editing any of this. This is literally it's gonna be
It's
unedited.
so bad. Listen, we'll tighten it up as we go. If we go. Our producer's like, this is the only one I'm producing. No more.
No, man. Whenever
Orbitz comes calling.
Whenever Orbitz comes calling, when you get that chicle money, oh baby. That's when this podcast gets loco on some very real levels.
That's right.
Okay, so night cheese.
Okay, well, we don't have to talk about night cheese anymore. But the point is, one of our common medical conditions is the COVID nose. The other one is one of the reasons why we named our podcast Cold Hands, Warm Hearts. Both of us have what's called Raynaud's phenomenon. Brandon, would you like to talk about what that is?
I would love to. So it's interesting that you've been calling it Raynaud's phenomenon lately because we always called it Raynaud's syndrome, and I don't know when we turned that corner. It's more fun to say. Phonetically, Raynaud's phenomenon is more fun to say, so I'm here for it. It's just a new development.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's called.
Again, we'll Google that.
Okay.
This'll all be in the show notes. I'm not updating show notes. Like that's not going to happen. So
That'll be my job.
Yep. So Raynaud's phenomenon is, I describe it to people as poor circulation to the extremities. So fingers, toes, get very poor blood circulation, and in some cases, extreme cases, will turn white, purple, look like my hands.
Green.
My
Greenish
hands
hue.
will get look like a dead person's hand.
Yours are bad.
Yeah, cadaver hands. But
Your fingers are gross.
that's
When they have the phenomenon. They're not gross right now.
thanks.
I'm just going to interject here. Our producer just told me that it's both. It's interchangeable.
Oh, cool.
Syndrome,
Thanks.
phenomenon.
Yeah. See, again, just we're not even one whole episode in, and this makes sense to have a producer.
It really does.
Especially such an attentive one who's doing such a phenomenal job. That's wordplay, y'all.
That's how it's done.
So we're really good at this.
We're so good.
So we both have it, and we're both tall people, so I've always felt like that was part of it.
It makes sense that if you have long, gangly limbs, your heart's going to have to work harder to pump the blood out there.
Yeah. And so that's what I've always attributed it to. But in recent years, we've come to realize that it's an actual thing that people have. And now here's the thing.
Body type doesn't matter, guys.
Can I tell you, just in any situation, body type doesn't matter. We're a very body positive podcast. So
We are.
one thing that I have beef with, and I'm just gonna this is me being a martyr about Raynaud's phenomenon.
Okay.
Because you can attest, and we'll post it on the socials, you guys.
We
You'll
will.
see
We
it on
want
the
to have,
socials.
our vision is to have a fan page where you can submit pictures of your Raynaud.
Where you, the listener, can submit your Raynaud's pics, and we can have just a weekly contest.
Sure.
So, I get a lot of people. You can attest to the fact that my hands get grody looking.
They really are. He sends me pictures.
Yeah, and they're very gross. But I will discuss it with people, and they'll be like, "Oh, I've totally got that." I'm like,
No, you don't.
"You're not about this life."
No, and
You're
you
not
feel
about
so
this.
smug because it's a thing.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. So if you don't really have it, I don't
claim.
want to hear that.
Don't talk to me about it. Talk to me about other things. Just don't talk to me about Raynaud.
Gum.
Do you hear my dog
I
out there?
do.
Leo, stop it, bud. We're in here bringing home the bacon on this podcast. No, so, yeah, people will claim they have it, and I'm sure they do to a degree. I would equate it to like someone who has celiac getting approached with someone who just, their tummy doesn't tolerate gluten that well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would argue, and I would push back.
I liked what I said right there.
You did, however, I would say that celiac is much more serious than Raynaud's.
Well, okay. Yeah, I know.
We're not apples to apples, is all I'm saying. But we
Oranges and apples are not that different, and they can be compared.
okay. So you, I feel like, have it worse than I do. Your pictures, like for example, after you have been lifting weights,
I'm very strong.
and that's the point of this. That's what he wants you to know.
I'm very strong. I can lift 100 pounds. I can lift 100 pounds right over my head.
Okay.
Do you want me to show you?
No.
Okay. I don't have 100 pounds here.
Our producer, he weighs more than 100 pounds. Mine is not as bad as yours. I do think that mine is worse in my feet than yours is in your hands.
For sure. We're going to have to stomp that dog.
Should we pause?
If I pause, I don't know if...
We don't know how to do
This
it.
train has left the station, and I don't know if we can get the toothpaste back in the tube.
Back. Yeah, so anyway, that's one of the reasons why we
Your
thought...
feet are worse than my feet. Your feet aren't worse than my hands.
Okay.
Don't...
No, your hands win.
Okay.
I will never argue with that.
Thank you.
They're
Hold on.
so
Here,
bad.
Keep talking. I'm going to let this dog in.
No, I don't want to. I feel so vulnerable. So another thing I thought we could do,
Come on, guys.
another segment. You're just going to let them in?
Why
Here they
not?
come. So these are two other members of Brandon's family. We have Leo, who is a Labradoodle, 5 years old, Axe 1, and Tilly, who is 3,700 years old.
Can we just talk about the fact that our producer just started removing dogs' collars so they don't jangle around?
He's so good at what he does, you guys.
We're going to have to provide, like, benefits and, like, the whole thing at some point.
don't have those to give.
Because he's going to get poached by a rival podcast. And
Because you said his name at the beginning. If you had just kept your mouth shut.
You said his name. That's Tilly snoring. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to have to wrap this podcast up pretty quick just because these dogs are in here now. And we're over 30 minutes, so we've done a decent inaugural podcast. Do you have other stuff that you need to cover?
I mean, do I? There's other segments that we could do, that we could continue on through others.
Yeah.
We don't know what this is going to morph into, if it's going to morph into anything.
With an attitude like that, it's not. So let's just...
That's true. I thought a funny segment could be where we talk about your injuries and just do like one a week, because there's so many and they're so varied and so bizarre.
The thing that worries me about that is that at some point when this thing picks up steam,
Yeah.
because it will, I will run out of injuries from the past and I'm going to have to start injuring myself again.
It'll be like Jackass.
You're...
Cold Hands Jackass.
God, if we could get Johnny Knoxville on here.
I like him a lot.
I'm a fan of his. Have you seen him lately?
No.
He looks fine, but he's
been through a lot.
But he looks old.
Well, he's had multiple concussions. So many. Broken bones.
Concussions don't age you.
Mental anguish.
It's true.
stress. I heard a podcast with him the other day where he had been not gored by a bull, but a bull had hit him so hard he had a concussion and like multiple broken bones.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're certainly not here to debate my injuries versus Johnny Knoxville's. He has tons of them. He's been injured a bunch, but it does not affect how he looks. He's just very gray-haired, and he looks
weathered.
He's looking like a peepaw a little bit, but like a handsome peepaw with a glimmer in his eye, but a peepaw nonetheless.
I like Salt and Pepper.
The hip hop group from the 90s?
No, Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper.
We saw them recently. We'll talk about that on another podcast.
Yeah. Where was I? Why didn't I get to go to that?
You had to bail for some reason. Jeff was out of town, maybe. I don't know.
That's what it was. I had tickets to that.
And you had hurt your neck. You had injured your neck.
Speaking of people,
we'll discuss that. We'll discuss that in our injury section.
Why are we talking about all these medical conditions?
Because you started.
Because I'm in my 40s and you're almost there. Mm-hmm. Stinks. Another fun thing we could talk about is the Journey concert at some point, because
you've got some good footage of the people watching was top notch.
And what I enjoyed, speaking of Peepaw and Meemaw, is that we were the youngest people there by like 20.
Yeah, that's not normally the case anymore.
At Journey?
And I'm saying it's not normally the case that we as a group would be the youngest people.
I know. It was great. I thought, more of this.
Spring chickens.
Please. Okay, so the first childhood injury that comes to my mind when I think about you is the baseball bat. Would you like to...
She's just getting right into this. I thought we were doing this on another episode. Yeah, the baseball bat,
Plastic baseball bat.
I feel like, here's what I think.
Okay.
I think we tease the baseball bat.
For next time?
And we roll it over because they're gonna want to come back for this.
Okay.
Because I may or may not have fallen on it, and it may or may not have gone the entire thing down my throat and torn a hole in my esophagus.
Maybe.
So, tune in next time to Cold Hands, Warm Heart, and you can hear about the time that I literally ate a plastic Louisville Slugger.
Yeah. Okay, but are you playing the theme song?
Yeah, but that's in the editing process when I'm chewing gum.
Okay. Because one other thing that I would like to do, and this is funny because I don't actually have one queued up for my own self. But,
slide whistle.
Right. But one thing that I would like to do each week is to talk about, to end with, a warm heart from both of us. Like, what's a thing that warmed your heart this week? And if we ever get to the point where we have guests...
I would need to have prepared one of those.
I'm sorry. Well, maybe we'll tease that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
There were some moments in the new Top Gun that I saw this week that warmed my heart.
Did they? Mm-hmm. Okay. I wrote a prayer for some people's wedding. That warmed my heart.
Okay, so yours is actually like a real one, and mine is nonsense.
You tell that to Tom Cruise.
Well, he's single-handedly saving the film industry. Okay, I cannot deal with this dog snorting anymore, so we're going to end here. This is where I'm calling it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and please tune in next week. We're going to have more of this primo content, and yeah, that's that. I can't. Oh, I almost stole the Smartless thing.
I wanted to, too.
We won't.
Bye.
Bye.